Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry. Today's video is going to be pretty short and sweet, but it's something a number of you have asked about in the comments, so I wanted to make a video to address this, and hopefully this will help you out as, once again, you plan how you want to spin your double recovery, how you want to work toward your Imperial Onslaught, and all of your other goals in this game. So if you don't remember, of course, we have this double drop promotion happening. Right now it's double rupees from Avenue to Fortune and double drops from Elemental Ruins at the time of recording, but starting tomorrow when I'm recording this, or it'll be out potentially today depending on when you're watching this, we are going to get the final string or final part of this promotion where we're going to have double drops, double rewards from Imperial Onslaught, and stamina recovery speed will be doubled. So that is going to start on April 7th. It's the 6th today that I'm recording, so that's going to start basically at reset tonight. And a lot of people want to know how I spend a typical day in Dragalia Lost, how I use my stamina and how I use my wings. So I thought the easiest way would be to go into the game and show you. Now, obviously, I don't have a lot of wings and a lot of stamina right now, so I'm going to walk through what I would normally do. Basically, I always try to collect my daily bonuses. That's my first priority. So these two little treasure chests, for all the quests that they're available for, I try to do that every day. Some people only do one Avenue to Power because that's all you need for the daily endeavor. But I prefer to do two. It gets me mana, it gets me crystals that I put toward my characters. I like to build out all of my roster, so that's why I do that. Of course, I do two Avenue to Fortune. This is particularly important now because of the double drops. And I do my two Elemental Ruins. So the thing about these quests is, at the highest difficulty you can do them, they cost 15 stamina if you do it single player, but if you do co-op, it costs 2 Getherwings. So all of these quests are most efficient to do in terms of stamina. So 15 times 2 on each of these, that's 30 stamina each, and there's 3, so that's 90 stamina. And when we talk about an entire day of Dragalia Lost, stamina recovers at a rate of 1 every 6 minutes. So basically we get 10 stamina per hour, or 240 stamina in an entire day. So out of my whole day's worth of stamina, I spend 90 just doing those daily bonuses. I do each of these twice, and if you feel like they're not worth it to you because you've been playing for a while, one way you can think about it is, if you are patient enough, you could actually reset until you get a rare enemy on each of these, and that way you're getting 6 clovers per day, or ideally 6, sometimes your rare enemy will drop something else. But basically 90 out of my 240 stamina I put toward that. So that leaves another 150 stamina afterward. So with the rest of that stamina, typically I will use stamina to do dragon trials. I'll do my daily bonus worth of these. I'll do 3 of them. And generally speaking, with both this and Elemental Ruins, I look here into my items and I see what I am lowest on. So right now I am lowest on light and shadow for my scales. So those would be the ones that I do my dailies for. And the same thing with the orbs. I'll look at, okay, well, my wind is kind of low, so I want to do wind. But with the Elemental Ruins, since the highest difficulty level isn't available every day, you just want to do what's available at the highest difficulty, or if you are newer, in a case like this, where we have water right now available every day just because the water upgrade event is happening, then I would suggest you do water. And generally speaking, until you catch up and have one elemental team built for each element, whenever an event is happening, you probably want to be doing the corresponding element for your ruins and for your dragon trials, because you're going to need those scales and those orbs to power up your adventurers to actually take on that quest. So that's another 60 stamina from the dragon trials, And that means basically every day I have about 90 stamina left over, which is kind of flex stamina. I usually use that if it's a facility event for the actual content of the event. So because you can only do these challenge battles using stamina and you can't do co-op here, that's where I'll spend that stamina. And sometimes, because the facility events can be harder to grind out, I will actually spend wings to do those dragon trials and put all the stamina from that, all that 60 extra stamina, into this as well. Especially early on when I'm still doing the boss battle to make my facility to level 30. I'll also do that with stamina because it only costs 15 stamina, but it costs 2 wings. So where you want to spend your wings and where you're going to get the most return from your wings is from Imperial Onslaught. So these quests on the highest difficulty on Master cost 25 stamina, but they cost 2 wings. So if you were using your wings for Avenue to Fortune or the Dragon Trials, you're basically getting 15 stamina worth of wings, or 20 stamina worth, and you could be using those wings to pay for something that costs 25 stamina instead. And it also helps the fact that this is probably the hardest of those maps, so it makes sense that it's the one you'd want to do in co-op. Now, if you can't beat the Dragon Trials by yourself, it's not too bad of a conversion rate. You can feel comfortable doing those with Getherwings as well. Because basically by collecting the 3 bonuses here, you're only spending a total of 6 wings. And wings recover at 1 per hour. So you get a total of 24 wings in a day and that 240 stamina. So after spending 6 wings on this, I still have 18 wings for the rest of my day to actually be able to spin. So with those 18 wings, the opposite happens if I'm in a raid event. So I talked about how for facility events, I will use wings sometimes to do my dragon trials. That way I can put more stamina toward the facility event. Well, if it's a raid event, the primary content, you need wings to take it on. So for that, I'll definitely use stamina for dragon trials, and then some amount of those 18 leftover wings will go into playing the event itself, the raid event. Now, if that's not happening and I have more flexibility with those wings, then that's typically where I will do basically 2 or potentially 3 dragon trials per day. If I'm feeling like I'm on a roll and we have a good group growing, or I just really want to play a dragon trial, I will dip into my ashes and burn ashes for that as well. But generally I would do around 2 dragon trials per day, advanced dragon trials, and then that would take 10 wings, and so those final 8 I would just put toward Imperial Onslaught. Basically, Imperial Onslaught is the catch-all. If you don't know what to do with your resources, if you don't know what to do with your wings in particular, this is pretty much one of the most efficient ways to spin them. And you need so many materials from this between the insignias, and now at the point I'm at, I really need these silver coins, that it's well worth doing. So that is pretty much how I spend my daily allotment of resources. Like I said, there is some flexibility, there's some variation depending on what's happening, but pretty much I put about 150 stamina toward daily bonuses, 6 wings toward daily bonuses, and that leaves me 18 wings to play around with and 90 stamina to play around with. If a particular void battle is happening that day that I want to grind out, so in this case Void Zephyr is something I've been working on because I want to craft one of those anti-High Midgard Sormer swords, and probably once Void Agni comes around that will be something I want to do as well. If that's happening in a particular day, then usually those 18 extra wings I have will go toward that. So if that wasn't happening, then I probably wouldn't be doing it, and I just wait until new void battles are introduced to do most of the grinding for my void battle monthlies. So that is kind of what I do in a day, and as far as schedule goes, typically what I'll do is when I go to sleep, I will try spend any stamina I have. If I stay up till reset, I will do the avenue maps since they're quick to grind out. I'll do anything that I can easily auto battle. And if you are even more time constrained, then that isn't a horrible way to use your skip tickets. You're missing out on clover opportunities and rare enemy opportunities, but if you're time constrained, it's not a horrible use. So typically I'll do that at night, and I'll do high dragon trials rather, at night, because I need to group up with people and they're harder. And then in the morning when my day starts, I can quickly beat the IO and spend about 6 wings in public lobby. So I'll do that in the morning before I go off and do whatever I'm going to do for the day, get some work done, and have time for my wings to refill. And also in the morning I'll do anything with my stamina that I can auto battle as well while I'm having breakfast or whatever. So that is kind of my routine. That's what I do. Besides the stamina and Getherwing management, a couple other things that I think are important to point out. Here in Upgrade Essentials, obviously you want to do your item summon every day, and the game tells you that, there's an endeavor for that. But also, I buy these 3 succulent dragon fruit and I buy these 3 consecrated water every day. It's one of the few ways you can get these on a recurring basis, especially for the waters. They are pretty hard to get. Besides that, the other thing you really want to make sure you're doing every day is you have to be here in your dragon's roost, and you want to feed all of your food to your dragons every single day. You never really want to miss out on this because it resets daily, and there are a lot of dragons to max bonds with. So I'll show you my collection of dragons. Typically I will use the Gamepedia wiki, and I'll see whatever the favorite item is. If you're not aware of that, this final item, unless it's a weekend, this will be a favorite of a certain character, or dragon rather, and they will get more bond experience from using that. So that final item I always give to somebody for whom it's their favorite. Otherwise, this is kind of the status of my dragons. A lot of them have been max bonded now. I'm going for all of my natural 5 stars that are from the gacha and my 4 stars. So right now I'm working on Leviathan. I'm going to finish Poliahu tomorrow. And then maybe I'll work on my flame dragons. My wind's kind of set. After that, maybe I'll work on light a little bit more. And shadow, I don't have anyone right now who is a strong contender and needs the resources. So yeah, that's kind of what you do in a given day in Dragalia Lost. Collect those daily bonuses. Do any endeavors that are daily, that are limited for the ongoing event, whether that's a raid or whether that is a facility event, or if it's a story event. Here you can see my Halidom. This is another thing that comes into time management with the game, is keeping track and utilizing your smithworms. So you see I have all 4 active at a pretty high facility level. Right now my constraint is my dojos. These silver coins are going to be hard to come by, and that's why I am going to spend so much of my honey and my ashes next week when we get our double IO drops, because all of my dojos need like 40 of these silver coins to level up now. All of my dojos are at level 20. So that is a constraint I face at this point. As far as how to expedite this process, I'll show you one thing, since this has been weighing on my mind as well. There is a value pack that you can get. It is this 30-day pack that costs 500 diamantium, and it allows you to recover your stamina and your wings once a day for 30 days. And specifically, you get 100 stamina and you get 12 Getherwings. So the way I think about this is 100 stamina is essentially 4 Master Imperial Onslaught, and 12 Getherwings is 6 Master Imperial Onslaught. So for 30 days, this lets you do 10 extra rounds of IO, or 300 extra rounds of IO in a month. So that is a lot of extra Imperial Onslaught. It should affect your player level at that point. It's a significant amount. And actually, this is kind of tempting to me just because you only get 1 to 2, maybe 3 at most silver coins per round of Imperial Onslaught that you do. So I was actually considering whether to maybe buy a larger pack, like this story pack, in addition to whatever I'm going to get for my dream summon eventually, and just use this for that monthly reset, just because I have now hit a point in the game where I'm not going to be able to keep up with those 4 smithworms. The amount of materials I need on all my next dojo levels are too high. It's something I've been able to manage really well, I feel, up to this point, but I'm finally hitting a wall where my Dracoliths, both of them, are about to reach max level. My Fafnir is about to surpass level 16 where it becomes harder to level up consistently. And so probably my smith rooms are going to be out of work soon unless I were to significantly increase my grind, which I would probably have to do through a paid pack like that, because I've also exhausted most of my reserves of ashes and honey. Anyway guys, I hope this video helps you if you don't know what to do in a given day in Dragalia Lost. This is how I typically approach it. I appreciate you all watching as always. I hope you've enjoyed the content that's come out this week, and I look forward to seeing what happens next week as this slow event finally draws to its conclusion. Otherwise, everyone, thank you once again for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.